Hi everyone, it's Thursday. Thursday. Not yet the day that we sing about, Thursday. And it just started raining. So I've kind of flip-flopped my schedule a little bit because I took the girls out for their walk earlier to beat the rain, and then I worked in my garden for a little bit. And so now I'm inside because it's raining. I know. Rain, rain, go away. Come again some other day. Miss Patty wants to go outside and play. But because it's raining, I'm kind of taking, well, it's supposed to rain, I think, for tonight and tomorrow and Saturday and maybe even Sunday. That's a long time to be inside. And you know what? I might just have to get lazy and, I'll clean the house and do that kind of thing. But I might just get lazy and read and knit. I have some plants to work on inside. I have to trim Irene back, which reminds me, I have something exciting to show you in our little planting garden that we started. Our carrots and our celery and our lettuce and what else? Potato, and onion. And I have some, and our tomatoes. And I have some cute thing. Well, I have something. Oh, and the avocado. I have something that I discovered today that I thought was really cool. So I'll show it to you tomorrow when I greet you from downstairs in the kitchen. But today is April 23rd, and I know a little boy who has a really special day tomorrow. So I hope he tunes in because it will be his day. And I hope he knows who it is. If you don't know, it's Will. That's who it is. So I'll be singing to you tomorrow, Will. Okay, so did you figure out, April 23rd. Let me start with that. Let me get my little board out here. 23, so around and back on a railroad track, 222. Now here comes the hard one. Around, whoa, come on, right. Around a tree, around a tree. That's the way to make a 3. You just imagine there's a tree there and a tree there. You don't have to write those, but around a tree, around a tree. That's not a very good 3, but it'll do. All right, and we know that 23 is not really a 2 and a 3. It's 2 groups of 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Group number 1. 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Group number 2 and 3 dots. So it's really 2 groups of 10 plus 3 ones. 2 groups of 10. And we know that these things are called tens frames, so that when they're all full, we know that's a group of 10. All right. Promised you a story today. But before we get to the story, and it's another Leo the Lop. I love Leo the Lop. Did you figure out what my letter was yesterday for my walk? It was the letter that came after Y. So if you said Z, Miss Patty, you got it right. And guess what? I only found 2 things. I found the name of the road that's across the street from me. It's called Zircon. Do you hear the Z? And I found somebody was wearing a zipper. So I found 2 things. Now today what I did was I took a whole alphabet walk and I found every single letter of the alphabet. And I had to find them in order. So a couple of times I found like a really great letter, like a V. And I wasn't there yet in the alphabet. So, and if you'll remember, the alphabet is A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, Q, R, S, T, U, V, W, X, Y, Z. So the next time I go out, it's supposed to be raining tomorrow, but maybe I can run through the raindrops a little bit. Tomorrow I'll go back to an A day and see what I can find in the A days. And that's how we go through our walks. We talk about things like that we talk. You know, Miss Patty talks, and I think the girls talk back to me, but generally they don't because, you know, they're dogs, and dogs really can't talk. They just talk back to me in my mind. I know I'm a little nutsy, and you know what? I love being a little nutsy. It makes life a lot more fun. So today, before we start, let's do some number practice. Do you know what that one is? I hope you do. It's 19, which means one group of 10, 9 ones. 16, one group of 10, 6 ones. Y'all know that one. It's 0. 7, across the sky and down from heaven. That's the way to make a 7. Let me get that 0 out of there. Oh, come on, don't stick together. Up, 1. A straight line is lots of fun. That's the way to make a 1. 20, a 2 and a 0, but we know it's not really a 2 and a 0. It's really 2 groups of 10, 0 ones. 12, that's a hard one to remember. A lot of people get 12 and 20 mixed up. I think because they both begin with T, but really they don't look anything alike. 20 is 2 groups of 10 plus 0 ones, and 12 is 1 group of 10 plus 2 ones. 8, just 8 ones. Make an S and don't be late. Hurry back up to make an 8. Around a tree, that's the way to make a 3. 3 ones. 4, 4 ones, that's a down and over. Down once more, that's the way to make a 4. 13, 1 group of 10 plus 3 ones. 2, around and back on a railroad track. 2, 2, 2, just 2 ones there. 14, 1 group of 10, 4 ones. 10, 1 group of 10, 1 whole tens frame. Here's another one. 9, a loop and a line. The loop goes on the top like a balloon on a stick. Okay, and that's just 9 ones. We haven't filled that tens frame yet. Here we've filled that tens frame. 17, 1 group of 10, 7 ones. 15, 1 group of 10, 5 ones. 5, down and around, put a hat on top, see what you found. I like to say the hat is so that big belly or big nose, whichever you decide, doesn't get sunburned. 18, a group of 10, 1 group of 10, 8 ones. And 11, 1 group of 10, 1 1. Easy one to write. I like that one. And the number 6, a line and a loop. Mr. 6 rolls a hoop. Now a lot of kids get that one mixed up with the number 9. The number 9 is a loop and a line, like a balloon on top. The number 6, the loop is at the bottom because he's rolling a hoop. You can't roll a hoop up in the air. Can't do it. You can carry a balloon up in the air, but a hoop has to roll on the ground like a hula hoop. So, okay, that's that. Let's get to our book. It's called Leo the Lop, and there's Leo, Tale 3. Now, I can't tell. Oh, I think it is. Pardon me, my allergies are bothering. I can't tell. I was going to say I couldn't tell if this was a rock, but now that I look more closely at the picture, these little flowers are spring flowers called crocuses, and they come in several different colors. Purple, I think, being the most common, but I've seen white and I've seen yellow. And they're one of the first flowers to come up in the springtime. So it looks like it's heading towards spring, but there's some snow on the ground. You know me, love my snow. So this is going to be one of those books again, and this is by Stephen Cosgrove, and it's illustrated by Robin James. And I think Leo is so cute. He's a little lop-eared rabbit, if you don't remember. And this is one of those ones I'm going to have to turn the book, or lean in. Maybe I'll just lean in a little bit. And so you can see the page, and I will read. But if you look right here on our page, and you look right here on the page, you're going to see something. And this is a tree. So let's begin. Beyond the horizon, that's way as far as you can see. The horizon is as far as you can see. So even further than that, farther than far, in the middle of the crystal sea was a beautiful island called Serendipity. On this magical island in the middle of the forest of dreams, protected by a wall of flowers and ferns, was a glen called the Thicket. That's a TH word, thicket. It was in the thicket that the Serendipity bunnies lived. Now, in the forest of dreams, the seasons followed nature's order. Oh, do we know the seasons? Sure we do. Winter, spring, summer, fall. Winter brings the snow so cold. In spring, we see flowers unfold. Summer is hot. We swim in the pool. And fall is autumn, time for school. So we do know those 4 seasons. The branches of the trees sprouted new leaves in the spring, blossomed in the summer, and in the fall the leaves, yellow, gold, spiraled softly to the ground. That means they went as they blew down. That left only the quiet time, the cold reflection of winter. The snow fell, bringing the quiet hush of winter into the forest. I love the quiet hush of a snowfall. I like to go outside and shovel the driveway and listen to how quiet it is. Now, with each passing day, more and more snow fell until everything was covered in a soft and gentle blanket. And that's what the snow does. It blankets the earth, just like a blanket covers you when you're asleep or when you're cold. The snow does that, and it keeps the earth a little bit warmer. It doesn't seem like it would because snow is very cold, but it does. Now, all the creatures of the forest were warmly nestled in their winter beds, dreaming of the spring to come. This was the season of snow. All of the creatures, that is, except for a furry, flop-eared rabbit named Leo the Lop, who was hideously bored with the long, gray winter days. Poor Leo. It wasn't that he didn't like winter, for he thought the season was very pretty indeed, but all of his friends, Squeakers the squirrel, Jingles the bear, and all the others hibernated. That means they slept all winter. Now the only one awake and feeling oh so alone, poor Leo the Lop had nothing to do. I can always find something to do, even if it's take a nap. Leo searched in vain for something to do. In the back of the bunny burrow, he found an old board game and tried to play against himself, but that was no fun at all. He knew the moves he was going to make before he made them. So he tried making funny faces in the mirror, but he was so bored that his faces didn't make him laugh at all. If anything, he became even more bored, if such a thing was possible. There's nothing to do, he sighed. I am so bored. I've been inside for such a long time, he said one morning. The season of snow must be almost over. I'll bet it's almost spring. All my friends must be waking up. And with that, he wrapped himself up in his favorite plaid scarf, put on his woolly bunny mittens, and dashed happily out into the snow. Oh, I can't wait to see Squeakers. He's probably waiting for me right now. And happily, Leo the Lop hopped down the snow-covered, twisty trail to the old oak tree where Squeakers lived. Do you think Squeakers is going to be ready to see him? I don't think so, but we'll see. When Leo got there, it was very quiet, and no one seemed to be up and around. He carefully climbed up until he came to the crook where a big old branch joined with the trunk of the tree. Here was the squirrel hole where his friend and his family lived. He peered inside and just could barely see Squeakers, his mom, and his dad, curled up, asleep. He softly tapped on the bark of the tree. "Hey, Squeakers," he whispered. "Squeakers, wake up. Winter's almost over. Wake up. Let's play." He waited, and he listened very carefully, but the only thing he heard was some soft snoring and somebody mumbling in their sleep. Can you see them in there sleeping? They're so cute. Unfortunately, at my house, squirrels are very destructive. They get into my flowers, they tease my dogs, they eat the wires on my deck, they eat the wood on my deck, they eat the picnic table. Oh, they're very nasty. He probably didn't hear me, Leo thought, because remember, he was whispering. "Squeakers!" he shouted as he pounded on the tree. "Wake up!" There was a rumbling and a grumbling from inside, but it wasn't Squeakers. It was Squeaker's father, and he was not very happy at all. In fact, he was as grumpy as an old bear. Leo was so scared that he stepped back, forgetting that he was standing on the branch of the tree. Down plopped Leo the Lop into the snow below. "What do you want?" grumbled the old squirrel. "It's only half past winter, child. It's still the season of snow. Why aren't you asleep?" "Well, there's nothing to do," said Leo brightly, "so I thought I'd see if Squeakers was awake so we could play." The old squirrel looked at him in disbelief. "Go back to bed, silly bunny. You can't play with Squeakers. Or you can play with Squeakers in the spring." And with a yawn and a stretch, he shuffled back into the warm comfort of the tree, leaving Leo alone again. Poor Leo. Now Leo was not one to give up easily and simply could go back to his winter's bed. Besides, he couldn't sleep and he wanted to play. So still bored, he began hopping down the trail with every intent of finding the hidden den where Jingle Bear was sleeping, which probably was not a good idea at all. Jingle Bear's dad was not a happy bear, even in the summer. It was quite fortunate that he found 5 little twitter birds instead. "Hi, birds," he said. "I'm bored and I don't have anything to do. Do you want to play?" The twitter birds chattered coldly. "Are you kidding? It's the middle of the season of snow. All our waking hours must be spent looking for dried nuts and berries in the trees and bushes. We have no time to play with a silly rabbit." And with that, they flew away in a flutter of feathers. And once again, Leo was left with nothing to do. Now, Leo was very bored. There was nothing to do and no one to do it with if he could find something to do. "Oh, pooh," he grumbled. "Pooh-hoo," the voice called out. Leo looked up, and roosting in the branch was his teacher from Critter School, old Teacher Owl. "There's really no pooh, sir," said Leo with a sigh. "I was bored and I wanted to wake somebody up to play with. Squeaker's dad got mad and the birds are too busy. I was going to wake up Jingle Bear, but I know his dad would growl my head off for sure. I'm bored and there's nothing to do." I bet old Teacher Owl is going to find something for Leo to do. Now the old owl, being wise by nature, thought for a moment and then softly hooed. "Did you ever stop to think that maybe you could just play by yourself and have just as much fun? Later, come the spring, you can tell all your friends about your marvelous winter fun in the season of snow." "Well, I'll try," sighed Leo as he started to walk away. And suddenly, With a smile on his fuzzy face, he turned and asked brightly, do you want to play? No, Leo. Be by yourself. Trust me, you will have fun. And with that, the old teacher owl flew away, leaving Leo sitting in the snow all alone. Sitting with nothing to do. Well, he sighed, I guess I've got tongue-tied there. I guess I've got to try to find some fun somewhere. And try he did. He hopped up the mountain higher and higher through the heavy snow, searching and searching for something to do. But he found nothing at all, save for the top of the hill. Well, I'm tired of hopping through the snow, he said. Maybe I'll just slide down the hill and go home. So he sat back on his big feet and slid quickly down the hill. He thought. That was fun! In fact, it was a lot of fun. I'm going to do it again. And with that, he quickly hopped back up the hill and skied back down again. Whee! He laughed, and his voice echoed through the forest. He does look like he's having a great time. Ears flapping in the breeze. I love it. Now, after skiing for an hour or more, Leo was becoming a master at playing by himself. Maybe there are other things I can do alone, he laughed. He looked around and then knelt down and scooped up some soft snow in his paws and made a snowball. He packed more and more snow onto the ball, and when it was big enough, he put it on the ground and began to roll it around and around. And slowly the snowball grew bigger and bigger and bigger. When it was so big that Leo could barely roll it, he started another one. He rolled another and another and finally stacked them on top of each other. And with his hands and a short stick, he carved the biggest snow bunny that had ever been built on the island of Serendipity. Oh boy, that was fun! Later that afternoon, Leo went back to the bunny burrow, a tired but very happy bunny. He played like this for days and days, building snow bunnies and sliding down the hills, and once or twice he just laid in the snow, waving his arms and making funny figures. One day, as he was playing, he noticed a small green shoot peeping through the snow. He looked around, and sure enough, there were little green shoots all over the place. "It's the beginning of spring!" he shouted. Sure enough, Leo had been having so much fun, he didn't even know that spring had sprung. As the snow slowly melted, the other creatures of the forest began to wake up from their deep winter sleep. Leo wasn't alone anymore. Leo the Lop spent most of the spring and part of the summer telling the other creatures about the wonderful time he had during the winter playing by himself. And though he played with all of the animals whenever he could, once in a while Leo would go off alone and play by himself. So when you're all alone and it seems like there's nothing to do, remember Leo's lesson. You can always play with you. And that's a good lesson to know right now during this time when we're kind of locked up at home and we're maybe not allowed to see our friends so much or go to school. You can always play with you. You can play marbles. You can play, sort buttons if mommy has a button box. I used to love to do that when I was a little girl. You can play certain kinds of cards by yourself. You can read stories by yourself. You can do puzzles. There's lots of things out there if you just look. Build a fort under the dining room table or under the kitchen table or maybe under a desk somewhere. Lots of things you can do. So anyway, I'll see you tomorrow on Friday, on Will's very special day. See you soon. Love you all. Bye.